Just imagine, a serial killer who's been on the run for 30 years. Now, a mentally unstable police officer breaks out of an asylum to catch him. But will he actually succeed, or fail like everyone else? You'll only find out by hearing the full story. The story begins with a man named Jack, who is an elderly landlord. Jack is a very arrogant man. His only source of income is the rent from his tenants, but many of them don't pay on time. Choi is one of them, so Jack threatens Choi and demands the rent from him. Actually, Choi hasn't been able to go to work for a long time because he's been sick, which is why he couldn't pay the rent. But even after hearing about Choi's illness, Jack tells him to ask his son in America for the money. Jack only cares about getting his rent. There are also some charity workers present who refuse to put pressure on Choi. In response, Jack tells them that if they feel sorry for Choi, they should pay his rent themselves. On the street nearby, they see a dead body. Jack looks at it and complains that people dying outside like this makes property values drop. At that moment, Jack sees a girl named Hong. She also rents a place in Jack's building but hasn't paid her rent in a long time either. Jack starts demanding rent from her too. He doesn't even know her name, so he always calls her Apartment 205. Hong tells Jack that she'll pay the rent soon and walks away after saying that. Hong used to work in a factory and was very kind-hearted. Meanwhile, Jack came to Min's shop. Jack was usually rude to all the tenants, but he always spoke politely with Min because he liked her. Min offered Jack a sandwich and pointed to an elderly couple outside while talking to him about love. She told him about Dr. Jong, whose wife had been paralyzed for a long time. Despite that, Dr. Jong always took great care of her. Hearing this, Jack commented that Dr. Jong's life was useless. He said the poor man couldn't go anywhere because he was stuck taking care of his paralyzed wife. Meanwhile, in another part of town, an old man's dead body was found. His body was infested with worms. A police officer came and asked Jack for the keys to the flat so they could remove the body. Officer Lee told Jack that the man had been dead for a long time, and if any of his relatives had visited him, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Jack replied coldly, saying it was a good thing, one less burden on the earth, but Officer Lee's words stuck with him. Jack started thinking that maybe Choi, another tenant who lived alone, might also die one day without ever paying his rent. So Jack went to check on Choi. But when he opened the door, he saw the lock had been broken. Inside, he noticed expensive food laid out. Seeing this, Jack got angry and shouted, "You can afford food like this but you can't pay my rent?" Choi told him the food was actually for his coworker. During the conversation, Jack finds out that Choi used to be a police officer who spent his whole life trying to catch a serial killer. The killer mainly targeted women, but he always started by killing older men before moving on to younger female victims. And lately, the same pattern has started happening again. Choi mentions that an old man who used to eat with them at church hasn't been seen for a few days, but Jack brushes it off and leaves. Later, the serial killer shows up at Choi's apartment and kills him. The next morning, Jack goes to Choi's place to fix the door lock and is shocked to find Choi's dead body. The killer had tied him up in a way that made it look like suicide, not murder. During the investigation, a charity worker accuses Jack of causing Choi's death. They claim Jack had said, right in front of them, that Choi might end up taking his own life because he couldn't pay his rent. That rumor spreads throughout the town, and everyone starts treating Jack badly. But then Hong visits Jack and tells him she's sure Choi didn't commit suicide. She also offers to pay Jack's rent and says she'll move out to a different place in a few days. To find out the real reason behind Choi's death, Jack goes to Choi's apartment. While investigating the place, a man named Park suddenly attacks him from behind. Park turns out to be the same friend Choi had cooked a nice meal for. He was supposed to meet Choi that day. Park tries to explain to Jack that Choi had even made a passport to go visit his family, so why would he take his own life? He's sure it was murder. But Jack ignores Park and walks away. That night, the serial killer sneaks into Hong's room and kills her roommate. Hong gets terrified when she sees her roommate like that. But before she can react, the killer grabs her and takes her away. Jack notices something strange going on in Hong's room, but he brushes it off and goes to sleep. The next morning, Park urges Jack to help him catch the serial killer, but Jack isn't interested at all. Later, they spot a few boys standing outside Hong's flat. They had come to see her because Hong wasn't answering their calls. Seeing this, Jack and Park both head to Hong's flat. When they get there, they find the severed head of Hong's roommate inside the fridge. Jack is shocked and is just about to call the police. But Park stops him and says the serial killer hasn't killed Hong yet. Her body hasn't been found. He warns that if they involve the police now, the killer might actually kill her. Jack understands Park's point and, instead of calling the police, decides to help him. Park explains that similar murders happened 30 years ago too, and one of the victims was Min, the same woman Jack has feelings for. But after that incident, Min forgot everything that happened. So Park decides to remind her of the past, hoping it might give them a clue about the killer. Jack, however, refuses. He doesn't want the woman he loves to go through that pain again. Then the story shifts to Park's past. He had once seen the serial killer murder his friend right in front of his eyes. but he couldn't save him, he was too scared. Even now, he clearly remembers the killer's eyes. Later, when Park sees Dr. Jong with his wife, he claims that Jong is the serial killer. Jack doesn't believe him, but Park insists, saying that serial killers often pretend to be innocent, hide behind their families, and commit crimes in secret. In order to confirm who the serial killer is, Park goes and sits with Dr. Jong and starts talking to him about the serial killer from 30 years ago. Hearing this, Dr. Jong becomes visibly nervous and scared. From his reaction, Park realizes that Dr. Jong is actually the serial killer. While they're talking, Dr. Jong's wife suddenly starts feeling unwell, so Dr. Jong quickly leaves with her. After that, we see Hong, who is injected with some kind of medicine by the serial killer. Then the scene cuts to Officer Lee, who starts to believe that Jack might be the killer, mainly because Jack works with locks and doors, meaning he could easily make keys and quietly sneak into anyone's room to kill them. Besides that, Jack had a habit of getting into fights almost every day. He even threatened Choi recently, which made Officer Lee even more suspicious of him. Jack then secretly sneaks into Dr. Jong's house and finds a hidden door. Just as he's about to open it, Dr. Jong shows up and stops him. He says, "You should leave now. I won't report you to the police." Hearing this, Jack wonders who would let a thief escape like that. Meanwhile, Park shows up and holds Dr. Jong at gunpoint. As soon as he gets a chance, Jack opens a secret door and goes inside. When they see what's inside, both Park and Jack are shocked. Dr. Jong has been growing opium there. Dr. Jong begs them not to tell anyone, especially the police, saying he grew it to treat his sick wife. When Park puts a mask on Dr. Jong, he notices that Jong's eyes look exactly like the serial killer's, which makes Park feel uneasy. At the same time, Jack realizes Park's gun is fake, and that Park is an Alzheimer's patient who ran away from the hospital. After learning this, Jack sends Park back to the hospital, but Park keeps shouting that Dr. Jong is the serial killer. Jack doesn't believe him, thinking he's just crazy, and instead, he apologizes to Dr. Jong. After handing Park over to the hospital staff, Jack goes back to investigating the serial killer. He's still worried about Hong. He remembers that a man named Eugen hasn't been seen in a while, so Jack goes to Eugen's house, where he finds Eugen's body hanging. Near the dog, there's a piece of a man's pants lying on the ground. Then Jack remembers that some time ago, a man had come to him to get a key made, and that man was wearing pants similar to the piece of clothing he was holding in his hand. At the time, Jack had noticed that the man's pants were torn, and today, the same piece of fabric was found with the dog. After realizing this, Jack heads to that man's apartment, where he finds a photo of Eugen along with the other victims. Seeing this, Jack assumes that this man is the killer and has murdered all of them. But just then, Officer Lee shows up and arrests Jack. Jack tries to explain everything to Lee, and together, they go after the same man. But the man tries to run from them and ends up dying in a car accident. After this, the whole city believes that the serial killer is dead. However, Hong is still in the hands of the real serial killer, which means the killer is still alive. Jack tells Officer Lee that this serial killer had killed people 30 years ago, but the officer replies that the man they suspect is only 40 years old, so he couldn't have committed those murders. That's when Jack realizes something's off and goes to Min to learn more about the real serial killer. Min recalls the past and says that the killer had 6 fingers on one hand and acted like he was a doctor. Jack quickly rushes to Dr. Jong and checks on him. That's when he finds out that Dr. Jong had surgery to remove his 6th finger. Right away, Dr. Jong realizes that Min must have revealed everything. Furious, he attacks Jack and locks him up in the same room where he had kept Hong earlier. In that room, we learn that Hong is being drugged with something made from opium. The drug will slowly paralyze her, just like what happened to Dr. Jong's wife. His plan is to make Hong his new wife and then disappear with her. At this point, we also find out that Dr. Jong's current wife was actually his victim too, and the man who got hit by the car earlier was also connected to Dr. Jong. That man had discovered the truth about him. Turns out, he was a serial killer as well, who used to target and kill old people. As Dr. Jong prepares to kill his wife, Park manages to escape from the hospital and shows up just in time. He's holding a gun. Dr. Jong sees it and assumes it's fake, just like the one Park used last time, so he doesn't take him seriously. But this time, Park is carrying a real gun. He shoots Dr. Jong. Even after getting shot, Dr. Jong still tries to kill Park along with his wife. Meanwhile, Jack takes Hong away. That's when we learn that Park had witnessed the serial killer committing a murder. Because of the trauma from that incident, Park developed Alzheimer's disease. Jack takes Hong to a safe place, and Park follows them there. Not long after, Dr. Jong tracks them down. Jack and Park get into a fight with him. Just when Park is about to kill Dr. Jong, Jack stops him and turns Jong over to the police. After this, the news spreads all across South Korea. The serial killer from 30 years ago was finally caught by a crazy officer and a stingy landlord. Dr. Jong's true identity was exposed for the whole country to see. And at the end of the story, we see Hong, now recovered, going to meet Jack, where Min is already with him, showing him love and affection. and that's where the story ends. If you had fun watching, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear from you.